Today I want to go over the roadmap to buying a home with you. Whether you're a first-time home buyer and you have no idea what this process looks like, or maybe you've purchased a home before and it's just been a few years and so you need to refresh your memory on what the different steps are. This video is great for you. Now, in my opinion, there are 10 main steps to the home buying process. Step number 1 is going to be speaking with a lender. This is so crucial to do at the very beginning because you can't really do anything else. You can't go look at homes. You can't do anything else till you know what you're comfortable with as far as your purchase price and your monthly home payment. So it's hard if you talk to a real estate agent first, or maybe you even just do a simple Google search, right? You look at homes in your area. You really don't know what purchase price you're comfortable with and what monthly payment you're comfortable with, or really what your options are till after you've spoken with a lender. So talk to a lender first. They'll work out all the finer details and help you figure out those numbers and what you're comfortable with. Then step number 2 is the fun part, because now you get to bring in a real estate agent and you get to actually go shop for homes. This is the best part because this is when you get to go into different homes, see which designs you like, what you don't like, really kind of figure out which one is the one for you. That leads us into step number 3, which is submitting an offer and submitting your earnest money. So when you submit an offer, you do decide how much earnest money you want to put down to show the seller how serious of a buyer you are. Now this number amount, the dollar amount for your earnest money, can be whatever you decide. It can be a little number, it can be a few $1,000s. Some people do tens of $1,000s. It's totally up to you and your real estate agent and what you think you need to submit to make your offer really stand out. So I like to point out the earnest money because a lot of people think that all of their loan costs will happen at the end of the loan when we go to closing. And that is when you'll pay the majority of your costs. But that earnest money does happen up front. So you do have to have at least a little bit of money on hand to be able to pay that at the beginning. That leads us to step number 4, which is actually going under contract. So when the seller accepts your offer, they like what you've presented, you go under contract. This is where you'll bring the lender back into the picture and they'll help you get your interest rate locked in. We'll get the loan officially started. This is when you'll wire your earnest money over to wherever you and the seller have decided that money will be held. So this is when the fun stuff really begins. That takes us to step number 5, which is your loan disclosures. So as a lender, we'll send you out a loan package. This can all be e-signed. It's all electronic now. It's really convenient. You get a loan package that comes to your email and it has all the kind of the legal documents that go along with the loan, right? So it's basically all the legal things and you're signing these to say, yes, I'm ready to start this loan. I want to buy this house and I'm okay with this lender starting the loan process. Now, nothing you sign up front is locking you in. So you do have time throughout the next couple of weeks to adjust like your down payment amount or the loan amount, maybe even your interest rate, depending on what your lender's rules are there. So there's things that you still can tweak. So these initial disclosures they're not set in stone yet and they're not final. Once we've gotten all those disclosures signed and we've gotten a lot of the documents we need from you, we go into what is step number 6, and that is processing. So when we go into processing, basically what we're doing is making all of your information really organized, and we kind of call this like to make it look pretty to go into underwriting. So processing is where we're just making sure we have everything we need. We're doing one final check so that there's not going to be any loose ends or any questions when we go into underwriting. And underwriting is step number 7. So once we've gotten everything we need from the buyer, we submit all of this information to an underwriter. And the underwriter is the person who really kind of takes everything and looks at it with a fine-tooth comb. And they're going to go over all the details. They're going to look at your income. They're going to look at how much money you actually have. They're going to review you as a buyer and just make sure that this looks okay and that we're going to be okay to fund your loan and give you, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So the underwriter does their job and they take a look at this, and either they'll come back and say, hey, this looks great, you're clear to close and you can move on. Or sometimes they have a few, they're called conditions. And this is basically just them asking for more information or some clarifying information on some things that caught their eye. Once we get the clear to close from underwriting, then we send out what is step number 8. And these are your closing disclosures. Now, your closing disclosures have to be sent out and be reviewed and signed by you as a buyer before you go to the title company and actually sign and finalize the loan. Your closing disclosures is kind of the final numbers. This is your last chance to review and say, yes, I like all these numbers. I'm comfortable with how much I'm paying and all of these other costs. You get to really break down, every penny, and then you'll sign it and say, yes, this looks good. We're ready to move forward and end the loan process. That leads us into step number 9, which is what we call settlement. This is where you actually go to the title company, and this is one of the few times you actually have to be in person throughout the loan process or the home buying process. You'll go to the title company and you'll sign the stack of documents that they have. Now, there are some options out there to do, like half of it will be an electronically signed document and some of it is in person. But as of right now, at least in Utah, you still have to go in person to the title company and sign. This is settlement. And then step number 10, the last one and probably the most exciting, is when your loan is funded and we've officially closed, meaning we're done, we've reviewed everything, we've wired our funds over to fund your loan, and the title company then records your name with the county as being the new homeowner. And now you get to move in. So just a brief review of our 10 steps. You talk to a lender, you go home shopping, you submit your offer with your earnest money, you go under contract, we'll send out your loan disclosures, you'll go into processing, you'll go into underwriting and get our final approval, we'll send out your closing disclosures so you can have a final review to make sure everything looks the way just like you want it, you'll go into settlement, so you'll go in person and sign all your documents, and then we'll officially close. And there's our 10 steps. Let me know what questions you have and like the video if you thought this information was helpful.